YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. We got power rankings heading into week 12 of the NFL season update. These every single Tuesday. And we got weekly picks every Tuesday night and score predictions every Wednesday. A lot more than that as well. So join us for all that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. All that we much appreciate. Live updates on Twitter, constantly talking football. You got Players of the Week polls. You guys vote for games on there as well. So definitely worth looking into. There's a link in the comments along with recent videos. Check it out. Power rankings. And again, weekly power rankings. You win, you go up. You lose, you go down. You get hot, you go up. Not end of the year predictions. That's the drill here. Lions still at 32. A winnable game. Back-to-back weeks. There's a lot of winnable games this year, but a very winnable game. Wish they ran the ball a bit more. They could have won the game that way and pulled off the upset against the Browns, but they didn't do it. They're remaining at 32 there for the Detroit Lions. Let's see if they can get out of that spot. They got a game against the Bears on Thanksgiving. They can do that. They could pull it off. Jets at 31. They're down a spot. Lost to the Dolphins. They made it interesting a little bit, but they're ending up going down a spot. The Texans winning kind of pushed them down is what really happened there. Jags went down a spot as well. I thought they could put up a fight with the 49ers, and that just was not the case. They just couldn't get anything going, really. Again, the Texans winning kind of pushed the Jags down. There's the Texans, a good win against the Titans. Upset special there. They're going to go up 2 spots. Texans defense really clutched up in that game. Tyrod Taylor escaping pressure, scrambling, running, ran in 2 scores. That was pretty big. So they're going to go up 2 spots. They'll play the Jets this week. Texans-Jets. Somebody's going to win, right? Maybe a tie. Lions pulled off a tie, so we'll see. Somebody could, if the Jets win, they're probably going to jump the Texans. The Texans win, hey, it's a 2-game winning streak there. Maybe they can keep going up a little bit. Bears at 28. One, they almost pulled off there against the Ravens. It was, Tyler Huntley Ravens, though, so hurts a little more than if it was Lamar Jackson, I suppose. But, yeah, it's tough to move them down below some of these other teams. I feel like the Bears have been better on the field this year for the most part than those teams. Seahawks. It's weird seeing the Seahawks down here, but they're playing some bad football right now. They're down 4 spots to number 27. Scored 0 points 2 weeks ago. Really struggle on offense and even on defense, allowing the Cardinals to extend drives. Every staff wants to win the time of possession game. That's the first thing with their team. They want to go into a game and win the time of possession game. And the Seahawks, not only they got, absolutely obliterated in the time of possession game against the Cardinals. It's been all year, so it's been bad. It's been bad for the Seahawks. So they are down 4 spots. Let's see if they can get themselves out of this hole. They got Washington football team Monday night. That's a winnable game, you would think, even though they're kind of hot right now, but it's tough. Falcons down a spot. Yeah, a pretty bad outing the last couple weeks. They just beat the Saints before the last couple weeks too, so he thought maybe they're going to get going. Maybe they make their run to the playoffs, but missing too many weapons offensively going in the Patriots game. Defense, it maybe has gotten a little better, but it's not going to go win the game by themselves. It's a weird situation in Atlanta. Like, how do they approach the offseason? What kind of rebuild is it? Is it a full rebuild? It's odd situation. Just need them to stay consistent here. They're down to 26. The Giants down to 25. Not the best outing from in the Buccaneers game. Somewhat recently the Giants been playing better though. You see they beat the Raiders before that. Defense, still like this defense. Offense just not giving them any help. They gotta get the ball in the end zone. There's talent everywhere. Not just talking. The defense is good. It's very talented. The weapons are talented. It's really just 2 things. It's the offensive line and the quarterback play. And you wish the play calling was a little better, but trying to manage with how poor the offensive line and the quarterback play is. So, I don't know. They're so close yet so far to being a much better team because of that. It's just not too many things that need to be fixed, but 2 of probably the toughest things to fix. So that was a disappointing offensive outing against the Buccaneers last night. They're going to go down 1 spot. Still, in the Giants are a tough team to play. Like, they're not a free win. They're not the same as they used to be, where they're kind of a free win. They're a tough team to play, but they're not the best team, obviously. Dolphins up 2 spots, another win for them. They made it a little interesting against the Jets. Wish they handled business a little better, but that's another win. See if they can keep going. They'll play the Panthers, a winnable game this week, and then another win to the streak. Might have to boost them up a ton. It's still what they're showing us on the field. Defensively, they're showing us they're getting better there. I would like them to show a little more offense to really boost up. But if they get another win, add that to the win streak. They're gonna go up. That's just how it works. Raiders down 4 spots, extremely disappointing. It's the second half of the year Raiders. You keep thinking that can't keep happening. It can't keep happening, and it just keeps happening. So extremely disappointing, and that's one of the bigger teams right now that we're disappointed in here. So they're down 4 spots. They didn't need to get beat up the way they did. That game could have been a lot closer against the Bengals there. So down 4 spots. Broncos stay put. They had a bye, 22. They'll play a big game against Chargers this week. Saints down 6 spots, losing streak. I mean, they're just beat up, so I guess it's understandable. But, yeah, it's just they don't have a lot to work with there anymore. They used to be one of the best rosters in football. I mean, even if guys got hurt, they had the depth. They just, what happened this offseason with them, it's just not the case. So now they're extremely beat up, and they just don't have much to work with, mainly on the offensive side of the ball there. So, it's not too surprising with that team they're putting. Even though there's still a problem for teams, it's not a free win, and it shows the coaching staff as well, because you put that, who they put out in the field for other coaching staffs, it would feel like a free win, really. So it's just kind of a unfortunate season for the Saints, down 6 spots. Panthers down 4 spots. I really thought they were going to handle Washington there. Washington's been impressive. Panthers go down 4 spots there. Defense was, because I expect that defense to be great, because I like that defense a lot. It could have been better in that game. It was a little underwhelming. I hated the play calling, though, in that game. We talked about in the recap, the takeaways. I hated the play calling. I think they could have definitely won that game. So, a little disappointing there. So they're down 4 spots. But I still, the Panthers could be sneaky moving forward, but we'll see. They got to go put it out in the field here. And they did beat the Cardinals a week ago, so they got that still going for them. Washington's going to go up a whopping 8 spots. They win again. They beat the Buccaneers last week, and then they beat the Panthers this week. And I thought there was a bad matchup against the Panthers. Panthers, the way their defense is playing, I didn't think Washington would be able to move the ball that effectively. They did. Defense clutched up when they needed to, even without a guy like Chase Young. Extremely clutch in that game, and they outplayed their opponent. Honestly, they could have won by more. You could have argued the Panthers could have won if they did these things better. Same with Washington. I think when they got in the red zone, when they had a lead, they kind of shut down a little bit, and they could have put this game away a lot earlier. But they're impressive. They've gotten better. They're up 8 spots. Those are key wins, I think. Buccaneers and then the Panthers based on the matchup. They got Seahawks on Monday night. That's going to be an interesting game here. 49ers up 3 spots. Dominating win against the Jaguars. Still only statement win is against the Rams, but big win. But they're playing a lot better on the field, so that's why we're moving them up here. So they'll play the Vikings this week. That should be a good game. A third game in a row, winning and beating a tough team to play. That would boost them up. That'd boost them up quite a bit here, and then kind of get us all, I think, feeling the 49ers again. Like, okay, all right, maybe they're for real back. Right now, it's kind of in the air. They kind of feel like they're back to the energy right now. But play the Jaguars to beat them up, and the Rams is a statement win. But so we'll see what they do this week. I'm very impressed with how they're playing. Browns stay put at 17. Not the best outing. Defense did fine. They're not stopping a run too well though, compared to what they did earlier in the year. But defense pretty much won that game against the Lions. So no movement there for the Browns. 16. Steelers going to go down 5 spots. Really, that tie to the Lions is a killer. They needed that win a week ago to the Lions. So that on top of losing to the Chargers here, giving up that amount of points, and they almost fought back. They had some things that went their way kind of, and they almost fought back and won that game, but just couldn't clutch up. There's really nothing right now I can. The Steelers are another team. I think they could beat anybody. It's a tough team to play, but there's nothing about the team that I really can trust right now. Really, if T.J. Watt, and I'm not talking about specific players. If T.J. Watt's in there, obviously that's an elite player, one of the very best players, Cam Hayward. But I'm talking about, I guess units right now, which is odd because we usually love and again, if they're a fully healthy receiver, then it's one of the better receiver units in football. But it just seems like a lot of inconsistencies. They don't really got anything to lean on, I guess. So, a lot of other teams in this range won too, so that kind of forces Steelers down more than I would have initially thought they would move down here in the system. Eagles up 5 spots. Eagles are playing some real good football, especially on offense. Tough running game to stop. Hurts is getting better. He's getting smarter. He can throw better. The offensive line's giving him all kinds of time. But it starts with that run game. And it looks like, yeah, if you stop that run early, then maybe you force them into uncomfortable situations, but nobody's been able to do that yet. So we really don't know if that's the case. It's easier said than done, and actually game planning and executing against that run. Eagles they're on fire right now, so they're up 5 spots. Giants next for them, which isn't a free one, so that should be an interesting game. Vikings up 4 spots, so they had back-to-back big wins. They beat the Chargers and they go beat the Packers, which is a huge one there. Offense really showed up in that game, so I was very much impressed with their offense against a hot Packers defense. So that was scoring 34 points there. So impressed with the Vikings there. They're up 4 spots. Finally saw them stay consistent. Will they continue to stay that way, though? They play the 49ers, two teams that are kind of heating up a little bit, but I know we're all kind of, do we buy into either of these teams? They look pretty good, but do we actually buy in? It's just those types of teams. They'll play each other this week, so I'm looking forward to that one. 14 versus 18 there, two teams that are pretty hot right now. Bills down 6 spots. I mean, the Bills' only statement win on the year is the Chiefs. And that was some time ago, it feels like, and that there was a weather delay in that game, and the Chiefs were playing pretty bad, and they're better now. But that's the Bills' win. They got a statement win. But other than that, we're just kind of basing it off of what they can be, but that's not how things work here. So they're disappointing to say the least. They're down 6 spots. They don't got much of a running game. Josh Allen's playing poorly. Offensive line's not playing so hot. I'm not really worried about the receivers. Play calling's not great. Defensively, maybe you teams can run on them if you have an effective run game. Not really worried that much about the pass defense. But there's nothing that it's a team you should be very excited about, but we're not feeling that right now. I know they're missing Tremaine Edmonds though to help stop the run last week, but it's extremely disappointing because you expect this team to be elite. So they got beat up pretty bad to the Colts there, so they're going to go down 6 spots. Still looking for a statement win for the Bills. They'll play the Saints on Thanksgiving. You expect them to handle business there, but will they? That's the question. Bengals up 2 spots. A dominating win against the Raiders. They didn't really have to do a whole lot in this game. I mean, Joe Burrow didn't do much. The Raiders were hitting them. They ran and played some good defense to win this game. That was impressive how they're able to pull away like that too. Everything's not going picture perfect in terms of the passing game. And you're still able, and maybe we don't really need it right now, and you're still able to pull away. Not many teams can do that, so that's the positive there. So the Bengals go up 2 spots, back on track because they were off before the bye. They were on a 2-game losing streak, so that's really good for the Bengals. 11, the Chargers up 2 spots. Good win against the Steelers there. They put up a good amount of points in that game, so that was the impressive part. I don't like how they kind of let them come back though. That really shouldn't happen. They outplayed them for a large portion of this game, so it really shouldn't happen. But that's an offense that's tough for anybody to stop. But we need them to stay consistent. There's some times where they kind of disappear a little bit. So Herbert, even Ravens game, Patriots game, the Vikings game for some reason only they couldn't really get much going in the passing game. So, but impressed from that game. They're up 2 spots to number 11. The Colts up 2 spots. I wanted to move the Colts up a lot more, honestly. Because I'm hyped on the Colts right now. I love the way they're playing. They could be a very sneaky team. They got to get in the playoffs. They deserve to be in the playoffs, but they can be a very sneaky team if they get in the playoffs. So I'm definitely hyped on them. Got to slow my roll a little bit, though, because a dominant win against the Bills. That's why they're going up 2 spots. That's why they're ahead of some of these other teams below them. But they still have 5 losses overall, but they're continuing to roll here. So if they keep winning, of course, they're going to go up. But they're into the top 10. That's great for the Colts based on, where they came from. A rough start to the year. Another statement win. That's really their first above 500 win, but, I mean, I'm not really too worried about them going against 500 teams. Things just kind of went the wrong way, unfortunately, earlier in the year. So, really like the way the Colts are playing. It's a tough team to play. Rams stay put at 9. They're coming off a little bit of a disappointing streak, and that's kind of why they went down to 9. But they had a bye this past week, so they're still at 9. Cowboys down 2 spots. A little more than 2 spots, actually. That's actually incorrect. They came from 4. 5 spots. 5 spots for the Cowboys, coming from 4. And so sorry about that graphic. But, disappointing out against the Chiefs. And, the offense I know they were beat up a little bit, but that's just how it's going to be with them, in every team. Just inconsistent. I didn't really like the play calling in that game. Dak forcing some things. So, Cowboys moving down. They were, they're down from 4. So, 4 spots, not 2 there. Next, we got the Chiefs up to 3. They just beat the Cowboys, and we knew the Chiefs would make their way back up here, but they actually had to go do it. I had people complaining. The Chiefs are going to be good. You shouldn't be moving them down that much. That's not how my power rankings work. They actually have to go do it. And now they're doing it. They're executing. Defense playing at extremely high level right now, which is wild, really. But, they got every phase of it. It's very well coached as well. Offensively, I think they did more than what the score will show. I think they managed the clock. They extended drives. It was very tough to stop, but you wish they could execute a little more on some of those good drives, not just the first one of the game. But Chiefs are rolling, and they very well could be the best team if you want to predict the best team in the AFC right now. Buccaneers up 2 spots to number 6. They beat the Giants. Pretty good outing on both sides of the ball for them. You expect them to handle business there. They're up 2 spots. Got some help. That's some other teams lost here. Patriots are rolling. They're up 1 spot. They did beat the Falcons on Thursday night, but they really dominated them. It was a shutout, and Patriots has been rolling. This looks like maybe the best defense in football right now. I would probably say it's probably the best. And offensively, you wish they could finish drives a little better. They get in the other team's territory, sometimes going for that field goal or making one mistake or something. That's if you want to nitpick here. But they've been working teams with their offense. They've been physical. They've been pounding the football, controlling the clock. So Patriots in the top 5 with the rookie quarterback here. Mac Jones playing very well, but that defense looks like the best in football. 4, Ravens go up 1 spot. They win without Lamar Jackson. That was a scary one. They don't get their first touchdown till late, but that does the trick, and they win the game. Good outing for their defense, except for a blown play there that we thought maybe would have lost them the game before they got the ball back. That's a big win. They still have that Dolphins loss from last week, so we're still holding on to that a little bit. But they come back, without their star player, their quarterback, they go get a win. So they're up 1 spot to number 4. Titans down 2 spots. Yeah, that's a tough loss against the Texans. Very sloppy offensively. They moved the ball in the Texans' territory. They were just shutting down the red zone turnover, stopped on 4th down. Tannehill had a very bad outing. Receivers had a bad outing. Probably didn't help that Julio was out and A.J. Brown got hurt as well during the game twice. For a bad loss like the Texans, you almost think they should move down more. It's just no one's really doing enough to get up there, and the Titans are fresh off being maybe the most consistent team in football. But losing to the Texans, you're going to go down. You're going to go down 2 spots. They're no longer in that 1 spot. And then you got the Packers at 2. They lost to the Vikings. A little disappointing. You don't expect them to give up 34 points. I just don't see any reason to move them down. I know the Titans were ahead of them, and they dropped below. They lost to the Texans. Packers offense had a really good showing even despite the loss, so I still feel pretty good about that. Again, it's a disappointing loss. They got up 34 points, but is there somebody doing enough to get up here and pass them? Again, the Titans were a little more disappointing, so they dropped below. The Ravens, they had that Dolphins loss a week ago. The resume definitely plays a part, but they do get a win. Patriots are getting there. They're getting there. They still have a lot, maybe not the record some of these teams do, but Patriots are definitely getting there. But just not enough to move the Packers really down, even though it wasn't an ideal outing, of course. And the Cardinals make their way back to 1. They were there for so long. The Packers beat them. They dropped down. And then the Cardinals, they get a good win. They go back up, and they lose to the Panthers. They go back down, just always slightly. And then, hey, they go out and beat the Seattle Seahawks without their quarterback in a dominating performance. They had well over 40 minutes time of possession. Seahawks had well under, what they have around 50, something ridiculous. Just pure dominance. Even though maybe the score didn't show it, it was. So the Cardinals, they got some help. Packers, Titans losing. The Cardinals go up 2 spots to number 1. In the Week 12 power rankings. Week 12 this week. We got 3 games on Thanksgiving. Cannot wait for that. It's like another extra Sunday there. I always enjoy that. We'll be talking live during those games on Twitter with all my thoughts. So make sure you follow that Twitter. It's on your screen. There's also a link pinned in the comments along with recent videos for you guys to check out. But yeah, that wraps it up. We got weekly picks later tonight. We got score predictions / picks against the spread Wednesday. We got all kinds of different videos, always adding more. I got an update on mock draft here in the near future, next week or so, within the next week, I'm sure. So a lot of exciting stuff here, even in the offseason, to join us. But that's going to do it. Thanks for watching this video. Goodbye.